Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hello Africa, and welcome to another episode of Humanity Africa here on TOS Television Network. I am Cynthia Ezeko, and with me we have...
I'm Adesu Alsi.
Hi Adesu.
You look so bright with your
You
yellow
too.
and all that
Thank
stuff.
you,
Yeah.
thank you,
It's such
thank
an
you.
amazing to be on the set of Womanity Africa. I'm excited. Can you tell?
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about something that's quite interesting. We're talking about cultural restrictions as it pertains to, an African woman. And particularly, about why African women have been, imposed with so much. I think there's this sort of perfection that an African woman is supposed to have. You can't do this, it has to be this. If it's not this, then it can't be that. And then we're not alone on set to talk about that. We have, surprisingly, a guy on set with us today. I'm sure you guys aren't expecting that, but we have a man on the set today. He is a journalist and a social commentator, and I'm talking about Sagir Ibrahim.
Thank you very much.
Hi Sagir. Welcome.
Welcome,
The first guy.
You're the first guy. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh,
the
that's
first
nice.
guy to be on our
And
show.
Both of you look really nice, I must
Thank
say.
you. Thanks for the compliment.
You're welcome.
Okay, so before we actually even kickstart, I want to know what your perception or your perspective of cultural restriction is as it relates to, an African woman.
Okay, well, first of all, I think we should go to the basics. Cultural restriction doesn't apply to just women alone. Yes, because from the definition, cultural restrictions are those things in forms of hindrances and the likes, challenges, bottlenecks, which prevents or make one believe that he or she is not supposed to do certain things or is expected to do certain things based on the belief of their culture or tradition. So I give an instance. Back in the days, and unfortunately even till now, some people still carry the belief that women are expected to be loyal housewives, domesticated
Exactly.
in the house and not work, but rather take care or sometimes rear the children.
Okay.
You understand?
I like the word
So
rear.
this is exactly, this is one of those restrictions.
Yes, yes.
And now on the part of the men, they're expected to be strong, to be intellectual, to be the protectors of the family. It doesn't matter whether they are weak, it doesn't matter whether they have the capacity, be it physically or psychologically, to carry that responsibility.
Okay, but the focus now is on women.
Yeah, okay, yes, okay.
So
Now,
let's take it,
unfortunately, these restrictions apply more to women
Okay.
than men. And the reason is because it's not like there are more restrictions on women, but the restrictions tend to favor, for some reason, the men more than the women.
Stricter on women.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So a woman is not, okay, like let me give an example. The lyrics of this popular song by Techno.
Yeah.
A woman is supposed to be in the kitchen.
Yes.
She's supposed to be the one frying the
Frying
chicken.
the
She's not supposed to talk in the meeting because she's supposed to concern herself with the cleaning.
Cleaning, the house chores, everything.
Exactly. That says a lot, And the fact that women are expected to be silent observers, especially in situations where these issues directly affect them, their well-being, and that of their children is just repulsive.
Sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
You said something, like we were talking about cultural restriction, and you
Yes.
just made mention of Techno's lyrics in the
Yes,
song.
yes.
So I'm asking, is it cultural restriction or societal restriction?
Well, cultural restriction is what leads to societal restriction.
Restrictions, yeah.
Because the culture is the bedrock that forms the societal
Society.
belief.
Exactly. True that.
So if you find yourself in a society, you should understand that they are coming from somewhere. And where they are coming from follows some sort of belief. And that is the reason why societies tend to differ from place to place. So you wouldn't expect to see the way of life you see here in Abuja replicated somewhere in Kano. Now, I was in Kano I think 6-7 years ago. I was talking with my mom. We were on the street, we were walking and talking. And funny enough, people were looking at us. They were literally moping at us. And I was confused.
Oh, I think I
What is going on? Now, mind you, that was my first time in Kano.
Okay.
And I was like, Mom Siafa, why are these people looking at us? At some point, we sat down, we're talking and we're laughing, you know. The gestures, she was hitting me, she was laughing. And then she told me, don't mind them. It is because they don't have this kind of relationship with their moms. So these are some of the issues we are talking about. Now, this cultural restriction is so terrible that even the women tend to force it on themselves.
Yeah.
For example, you want to air your view, and then a mom or an elder sister or an aunt tells you, keep quiet, don't say anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say anything. You want to bring shame to the family.
True. Now, sorry, I'm going to cut you there. Talking about shame,
Yes.
I'm more, I don't know, I think I'm more inclined to, you know, social media and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think it was quite I think a few months ago, with the advent of TikTok, there have been lots of, you know, trends and, you know, challenges and all of that stuff. So I want to hear your, you know, the male perspective to this one. I think I've always ever discussed it with female, and then just the perspective, like, we're allowed to do whatever we want. But, so I'm going to talk about, you know, some challenges like, you know, the boxing challenge and then the silhouette challenge. I'm sure everybody's you know familiar with that one. I know I'm a terrible dancer, but I love to dance, right?
Okay.
And I make dance videos every time on my phone, but I can't put it on social media because like I feel as though people are going to like there's going to be some sort of criticism. You know, like people are going to feel as though you are African. What is this you're doing?
Yes.
Or you know,
you
there's
lack
going to be a
training.
stereotype. You know, like you have lack of training,
yes.
you're wayward, or so. There's always a tag associated with it just because, you know, as a woman, you just put stuff out there.
Yes,
now, I'm
yes.
coming back to the bossy challenge and all that stuff.
Yes.
I think that the most comment that people made on those challenges were, this is not African,
Yes.
or how can an African woman be doing this? Or your children are going to grow up and see stuff like this. What
Yes.
legacy are you leaving for your children? So, and in my eyes, I'm like, they can live whatever life they want to live. So what is your perspective as a man?
Okay, first of all, I've always been an advocate of one or a person expressing himself as much as he can, using whatever means he can, he or she can.
Yes.
But then again, we have to realize that while doing so, we might tend to offend certain people. Now, that is okay because you can never always have praise singers.
Yeah.
But then again, we need to realize the issue of nudity is a very serious and sensitive topic. And while you might be okay to put yourself out there, someone else might not be okay to see it. And while it is fine for you to allow people invade your privacy, does not mean certain people want to see it, because these things are offensive. I don't know whether you understand the point.
I do.
Yes.
So there's a certain level of decency that some people have, which prevents them or provokes them. Yes, because sometimes seeing all of these images online or videos online, be it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and other social media networks, can actually provoke them. You know?
Okay, but I do know that quite a number of men, I'm sorry to say this, but I do know quite a number of men literally just go online to search, you know, images like that on their own. But when it comes to, you know, Nigerian women, African women putting it out there by themselves, it becomes a problem because, well, you're an African woman, you shouldn't be doing that. So isn't that some kind of hypocrisy of some sort?
It's not some kind of hypocrisy. It is hypocrisy,
Okay.
because this is someone who would go on, say, a popular American singer's YouTube page or her Instagram page. I'm saying, go girl, you're
Exactly.
Yes,
my
the whole
boy.
cherry,
Yeah.
the whole
And
thing.
then Onyechi here in Nigeria,
He said
we try to replicate something like
Yes.
that, and then you remember
Yes.
That,
that
You're
you are
from
in
an,
Nigeria.
from an
exactly.
African home.
You know, the sensitivity or how they make sense of that alone just shows some of the bottlenecks it is we are talking about. That, okay, those girls are out there. They do not understand the seriousness or the severity of the implications of what they did. You're Nigerian.
Yes.
You understand the culture and the tradition of the Nigerian society. You're not supposed to be seen doing this. Now, this brings me back to what I was saying earlier. Cultures differ from society to society. But then the hypocrisy remains. Why will you be okay with seeing someone else's nude from outside the country
And praises and
and you are getting provoked because Onyechi here in Nigeria did the same.
I like the way you say it.
Do you understand? It is mind-boggling, really.
Exactly.
So, what are you being a protector for? And what are you being protective about? Because it is definitely one-sided. You're clearly not doing it because you like her.
Yes.
Because perhaps if you did, you would have done the same for the American singer.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, it goes an extra mile further. That it is the beliefs, this belief that we've grown up with, that in the African society, a woman's flesh should not be exposed to the extent of her bosom or her buttocks being exposed publicly.
Okay, that's.
Well, hold on,
that's
we're going to get
fine.
back to that. We have to go on a break at this point. We have to go on a break at this point. When we come back, Sagi, I have quite a number of interesting things to ask you. So we're going to go on a break, and then, in that time, you're going to meet our woman crush on today.
Audio Jungle.
Welcome back on Humanity Africa.
I have a question for you. This one is just off of the top of my head.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you personally two questions, two in one question.
Okay.
How do you view, or how would you view a woman who is bossy or who's considered bossy at work? And how would you
Okay.
view a woman who, twerks on Instagram?
Twerks, okay.
Yes. Because I asked the question because, if a man is bossy at work, they're held in higher esteem. That's what a boss should be.
Yes,
Do you understand?
yes.
Or a man, expressive on Instagram, dancing or something like that. Like, oh yeah, he's very expressive. I like that. He can put himself out there. But how I want to know what it is like from the mindset of a guy, a bossy lady, and a lady that maybe just tracks on Instagram.
Okay, so there's a thin line between being a boss and being plain wicked. And when you look at all of these things, we tend to over-exaggerate because we are guys. And because guys normally do not like to be under the employ of ladies. Now,
Yes.
no guy will want to openly admit this. Maybe some would,
Okay.
but we really
The
do
real
not,
guys
we
will
really
not.
do not like it. Now, I've worked with a lady before. I've had a lady as my boss before. I've had no issues. But then again, ladies themselves can get intoxicated by power.
Ladies or everyone?
Sorry?
Ladies or
So
everyone?
ladies.
Everyone gets intoxicated, but why I'm being particular about ladies is because what we are discussing is about ladies.
I see what you
Same
did there, but
ladies.
okay. I see what you did there,
But if we really look at it, a lot of ladies who are bosses really don't have problem, and they run their businesses silently and smoothly. It is just a few, and those few we are talking about truly encounter serious issues. So that is it about working for a lady boss, or what I feel about.
So you don't have an issue with it? You don't think it's a problem?
I completely do not have an issue with working for. Yes, I don't.
Okay.
Then for the issue of twerking, well, you see, I have learned to not judge a book by its cover.
Okay.
Yes, because it has taught me lessons time and time again. So, because you see a lady twerking on Instagram, does not mean she doesn't have a multi-million-dollar enterprise outside social media.
Yes.
So, and because you see a lady decent on social media, it does not translate to having a penny to her name. So you see, these little inconsistencies occur because social media is just a very narrow mirror where people allow you to see certain things about them based on how they want you to see them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you see a lady twerking, now I'm not saying twerking on social media is not a vice.
I like how you slightly just put in, your perspective and
Yes, I'm not saying, no, I need to do a disclaimer. So it doesn't look like I'm supporting twerking online. And then they say, after us, Aggie said it, So it doesn't mean it is not a vice, because really it's promoting decency. That is just the truth. But then again, someone has done it and has put it out there. And you that watched it and somehow liked it,
is condemning it. Between the both of us, who is indecent?
Okay. Another. You could go on.
Yeah, I want to like chip in something. I think we were talking about this restriction of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen some ladies that find themselves in the men industry?
Yes, I think that's going to be like another discussion for another day. Like
That's-
women
that's-
in
yes,
male
actually.
dominated, because that's like kind of broad perspective.
Women in
male dominated
industry, yeah.
I mean, I don't really think there are cultural restrictions to that one.
No,
Women
they
just-
actually are. They actually are because
Because
if there were no cultural
sorry.
restrictions, perhaps the man would just see us another man and then look over it. And
Okay.
I think that's
yes,
where the statement comes in. That
Yes.
what
And
a
then-
man can do,
a
a woman can do better.
Okay, and then you won't hear things like, you work here. I say yes. Why? You get these really absurd and unnecessary questions. For example, you see a lady working on a refinery plant, for example.
Or maybe a car
Okay,
washer.
that's going too far. Okay, there. For example, a
The
car wash.
washer,
Yeah.
car wash, yes.
Or you see a lady taxi driver, at least that is gradually even becoming a norm.
A norm,
Or let's
yeah.
say a lady working as a vulcanizer,
Yeah.
or a lady working as a car wash. You want to wash your car, and then you see a lady just doing what
Something
a
to
man
do,
does
yeah.
normally, jumping on, God, let me wash your car and all of that. You're like, hey, slow your roll.
Yeah, I know
pump your brakes,
quite a
pump
number
your
of guys
brakes.
would not even. let
Even
her-
ladies,
Yeah, even some
would be
ladies.
surprised,
Yes.
Yes.
And hold on, what are you doing here?
Exactly.
Why are you here? I want to wash your car. Will you be able to wash it?
Yeah.
Do you get?
Exactly.
So these things exist because of the cultural beliefs we have,
We have exactly.
about the allocated responsibilities to
Of the
women.
Yes.
So that is why we wouldn't expect to see a woman as a bus conductor in a garage.
Exactly.
Yes.
We wouldn't expect to see
A woman as a boat driver.
as a boat
Okay,
driver.
yes.
Before we wrap up, because I know we're out of time, but like you did talk about allocated responsibility, and
Yes,
then this
yes.
came to my mind. I'm talking about like I know we're in Africa, and then this topic has been like debate for the longest time possible. Do you think a man, you should be actively involved in domestic chores, especially a married man? Do you think like
That's a good question.
Exactly. I just
That's a
like
good
I
question,
want
yes.
I want to hear it from a man, once and for all, like
Yes.
because a lot of person like, why would you be washing
Clean
plates or
house,
doing
yeah, when you
cooking,
have a woman
stuff like
at
that?
home.
So, yeah, so please, do you think a man should be?
Okay, so I would answer this question, unfortunately, with a question. And the question I would like for the both of you to answer. The question is, before he became a family man, who was doing the chores?
I wouldn't really know, because some of them will be like, oh, well, it was my sisters or my mom. So where I'm coming from, we don't do that. And then some person will be like, oh, I don't have a problem actually doing it.
Yes.
But like I know the larger proportion says a man
You
shouldn't.
shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm asking you.
A larger proportion of
The men that I've had talk about the issue.
the men,
that I've
the man
had,
shouldn't
even women,
do
there are women who are
chores.
subscribed to the fact that men shouldn't do
Now,
that.
those women who subscribe to the fact that men shouldn't do chores are those women I was talking about earlier. This cultural restriction sometimes can be self-inflicted. When I was talking about bringing shame and all of that, you are here, you are allowing your husband to bath the children. You are here, you are allowing your husband to cook
Change
food.
diapers.
You are here, you are allowing your husband to fetch food from the pot. You understand?
Yes.
But then again, you didn't marry a wife because you wanted to domesticate her. If you wanted a domestic staff, you would have just had one. So you're marrying a wife, and even when you took your vows, there was no agreement that, madam, if you are going, you will go and sweep also, Everything is supposed to be done 50-50. Yes, I can understand that most women would want to honor their husband by doing the chores because they grew up doing it and because they see it as a responsibility. But then again, it is not senseless for a man to take the initiative to help out.
So you would do that?
Yes, I will.
Oh.
100%.
Quite. But like, do you have anything to say before we close the show? Any concluding statements before we close the show? Because I know we're out of time.
For concluding statements, I think we really need to continue in the pace of learning, relearning, and unlearning a lot of the things that was passed down to us by our parents and our parents' parents, because the truth of the matter is that there are a lot of these things that are just grossly inaccurate, you know, and until we have come to an understanding that, now, I'm not saying they don't have wisdom. I'm not saying that their guidance did not make us who we are today, but I'm saying there are these beliefs, there are certain beliefs that we really need to either unlearn or adjust to fit in to the current society, because the world as we know it is changing.
And if we don't adapt to that change, it's going to be a really big problem for all of us.
Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much for
Sangi,
coming
on the show. Thank you guys so much for joining Womanity Africa. Don't forget you can watch Womanity Africa every Wednesday on TOS TV Network. Thank you again. Don't forget to follow TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube. My name is Adesuwa Osuyi.
And I am Cynthia Ezeku. Do have a great day.